つね。こんばんは。きつね。こんこん、こんばんは。
Hi, my name is David Whaley, and I'm the creator of The First Tree. Tell you that you can find interesting things about how I made this game by touching the speech bubbles you see in the world. So I hope you enjoy it.
Are you awake? I thought I heard you get up.
Just can't sleep.
Are you thinking about him?
Yeah, a bit. Usually get back to sleep, my love. I don't know, it seems weird, but I had one of the most vivid dreams of my life. I saw a fox on a snowy mountain, just looking confused and worried. Those eyes, I can't get those eyes out of my head. She was running in the windy snow, looking for something.
Do you think it has to do with you and what's been going on?
I don't know. It was just a dream, Rachel. They're not meant to make sense. A lot's happened the past couple days, that's all.
Well, if you're not going to sleep anyway, you should tell me. I want to hear.
All right.
テステスト。多分大丈夫。少しコメントの音量を上げてみました。キツネかわいい。これは今から鍋の材料に。 じゅるり。キツネがピュンピュンするんじゃ、ああ米打つの遅い。こんばんは。初見さんですね。初見さん、ゆっくりしていってね。初見じゃなかったと思うけど。まあ、いいか。あれ?
So it's usually at this point where people say something like, "This is not the kind of game I was expecting." And that happened a lot at PAX West. When I showed it, we'd have little kids play it, but then they see a dead fox cub, or a kit is technically the word, but cub sounds, I don't know, it sounds better. Like Wes Anderson uses it in Fantastic Mr. Fox, so I thought cub would be alright. But anyway, having this game, I wanted it to be more serious. This game is based on dealing with the death of my father, which was the hardest thing that's ever happened to me and my family. But I don't want to talk about it here, and I didn't want to talk about it with anybody really to this day still. It's very personal. And that's why I made this game. That's exactly the reason. Because I wanted to get those feelings out and like communicate with people without like talking about it. And so that's what the first tree is. It's me dealing with my feelings. And it was a personal project, and it was just me, and it actually, like, I'm really glad I made it, but it wasn't easy to make, I guess is what I'm saying.
So, not far from her home, she followed that path to something unexpected.
確か前にバイオ6でコメントしたと思うが。日本語で OK。英語わかんねえ。バイオはちょっと記憶にないです。すみません。
So it's usually at this point where people say something like, "This is not the kind of game I was expecting." And that happened a lot at PAX West. When I showed it, we'd have little kids play it, but then they see a dead fox cub, or a kit is technically the word, but cub sounds, I don't know, it sounds better. Like Wes Anderson uses it in Fantastic Mr. Fox, so I thought cub would be alright. But anyway, having this game, I wanted it to be more serious. This game is based on dealing with the death of my father, which was the hardest thing that's ever happened to me and my family. But I don't want to talk about it here, and I didn't want to talk about it with anybody really to this day still. It's very personal. And that's why I made this game. That's exactly the reason. Because I wanted to get those feelings out and like communicate with people without like talking about it. And so that's what the first tree is. It's me dealing with my feelings, and it was a personal project, and it was just me, and it actually, like, I'm really glad I made it, but it wasn't easy to make, I guess is what I'm saying.
She couldn't stay though. She had to find her other two children. So she took that path. She followed it towards something ancient. Something with answers, high and low, searching for any sign of her cubs. Points of light showed the way to this ancient tree. It was as if each one had a story to tell, all their own. The land was trying to tell my story too. I felt like I was right behind her the whole time.
やっと字幕が仕事した。小男、どうしてこんなゲームを作ってしまったんだ。
The bunnies were added because my wife, Elise, who also voices Rachel in the game, who's also helped a ton to make the game, as we were playing, she just said the world felt kind of empty and not alive enough. So I knew we needed to add some kind of life. And so the bunnies was like the first idea that came to mind. And like most of the game, I used like publicly available assets to speed up production because I was working full-time along with making this game, and we just had our first baby, a little girl named Evelyn. So I was messing with this asset called Herd Sim, and at one point, like the generation script that creates variations of the sizes of the bunny. One time I got out of control and it made like this monster bunny that towered over everybody. And I shared that GIF on Imager and Reddit, and that was a huge hit. It helped definitely gain an audience for this game. But it's hard because this game is like so serious. It's about life and death, not giant bunnies. But I knew I needed something, like a shout out to that, because it was pretty fun. So if you're able to catch all the bunnies on this map, I think there's around 13, then you'll get a special surprise. So good luck.
Do you remember what my dad did for a living?
Wasn't he like a lumberjack?
That's one way of putting it. If wood was a canvas, then a carving knife was his paintbrush. Even after working a 50-hour week, even after his hands were more splinters than skin, he would bring home the nicest piece of Alaskan weeping cedar and make me toys. That wooden train was the first toy I can remember, and I loved it. I just knew from a young age I was going to be a lumberjack, like my father.
"なぜこんなところにそのおもちゃが?" 誰かの記憶の中、夢の中なのかな?雨が。その夢の中の虫さんが狐になってる?その可能性は高そうですね。
A lot of people have gotten confused why Joseph's father is called a sourdough, and it's not stated outright at the beginning of the game, but Joseph and his dad, they grew up in Alaska. And I don't have a real connection to Alaska except through friends who lived there, and it was also the place that me and my dad were going to go right before he passed away. But I love the idea of Alaska being like this beautiful solitary place. But anyway, what that has to do with sourdough is it's an Alaskan slang term about like someone who lives in the backwoods, like a redneck in Alaska. So I thought that was just to put some authenticity into the game. I added that word.
Usually those kids would leave me alone, but somehow they could tell I was different. They made fun of how far away I lived. They called my dad a sourdough. I was a blabbermouth as a kid, telling my dad stories I made up for hours. But after that show and tell, I didn't tell him much anymore. He didn't know exactly what was wrong, but his best guess was that the toys he carved weren't cool enough. He carved me a tank and tried to tell me what it was like to be in a real tank as a serviceman.
I didn't know your dad was in the military.
Yeah, in the army. The sad thing is that I'd pretty much forgotten until just now. There's so much I still don't know about him.
I'm sorry. He knows how much you love him. You're going to see him again soon and have some closure, I'm sure.
この狐が語り部の男の人なのかお父さんなのか。広いですね。冒険はまだまだ始まったばかりです。そうですね。そして、これは滑り台かなる。かな。私も滑り台に見えます。 キノコのテーブル。足、うわぁ。これがトンキツネの本当の姿ですか。すごい似てますよね。ベンチや滑り台が倒れてる理由は、
I feel like one of the main reasons people play small indie games is because they are so personal and intimate. So I tried to put myself into this game as much as possible. So almost all the vignettes or little stories you hear in this game, they come from my childhood, where I grew up in the middle of nowhere in Central Virginia in the United States. So yeah, that's probably why I love games like this so much, where you explore this open, wide environment and just find interesting things, because that's exactly what I did as a kid.
Virginia. ありがとうございます。意味がわからない。確かアメリカの州の名前だった気が。これはお菓子かな。アメリカですか。どうやらアメリカで作られたゲームのようですね。 車にしてはでかすぎる。上に何か光ってたね。38721。ナンバープレートですかね。少なくとも日本じゃなさそう。アメリカはナンプレ数字だけだった気がするよ。なるほど。まあ、文字も入れれるんだけど、日本よりクソゆるってる。これは、警察とかが使う罪人輸送車ですかね。どうだろうか。太陽に向かっては指令。別マップ。季節が変わった。一度戻ってみましょうか。戻れないようだね。あれ？少し進んでから戻ってみるとか。
My teenage years were full of sketching, angst, and trouble. I wasn't popular or unpopular. maybe just forgettable. I guess that gave me a sense of freedom, so I hung out with crazy kids, doing crazy things, even though I mostly just watched the chaos ensue. We did it all. Put fireworks in mailboxes, hide roadkill in people's garages, break windows of the barber shop in Anchorage. My dad was furious, but he was so busy working he couldn't do much to stop me from going out.
I think being an adult means there's no one to stop you making hard decisions. He had to make a living, and he couldn't be in two places at once.
Yeah, I realize that now. But at the time, I was sure he was more interested in growing his business than what was going on with me.
そうだとは思いますが、まだ色々探索できてませんし、戻りたいです。浮きつねザ・ムービー映画化。こういうゲームは一方通行が多いからね。ここにいない人の名前がめちゃくちゃ出る。一応実験。ダメそうですね。適度に回収しながら進みましょう。
This is the level that I showed at PAX West, which was a crazy dream come true that this hobby project was being shown next to all these amazing indie games. So I decided to show this level because it's smaller, there's like some jumping puzzles, and I thought it was a good entry into the game. But the one thing I can't seem to forget is right before we opened to the public, there was an indie dev superstar. Like, you've definitely heard of his games, and I was like terrified. He wanted to try it out. So I said, of course, like, please give me your feedback. And he was super nice, super talented, of course. But this embarrassing bug happened, which I'd never seen before in my life, where when he dug the item up, he jumped right after, and it created the dust cloud to permanently be on the rest of the level. It wouldn't turn off. So it looked like this fart cloud following the fox as it just kept running with this beautiful music and serious voiceover. And it was horrible. I think about that every time I look at this level. But, you know, I was able to fix it, so I'm glad someone could at least find that bug. He was working another late night, and my friends were over, saying how bored they were and how they had come all the way out to my house for nothing. One of them mentioned how that old, ugly beyond belief truck was still in the garage, and how we should take it for a spin. I was only 15, so I kind of fought it for a while. The next thing I knew, we were careening around the mountain path, rocks spitting onto the sides of the cliff, while my dad's cringeworthy bluegrass blared out the speakers. I drove while my friends were in the back of that yellow and purple truck, throwing beer bottles and trash at anything remotely interesting. Felt like I was soaring in the air with borrowed wings. But all good things have endings. A cop outside of Eagle River pulled us over after he saw us in a bottle rocket into someone's yard. What followed was a long night of talking to disappointed adults and feeling smaller than ever.
思い出の品と思い出話がたくさんですね。1号歳の時の写真かな。ザ・ワールド。その時、と浮狐に電流走る。やあ。これは読めなさそうですね。ピグさん、こんばんは。こんばんは。コンボ覚えらんねえよ。頑張ってください。さてと、そろそろ筆を取る準備を私は始めるよ。後ろ前繰り返しから言ってたやつ明日ぐらいに送る、コン。もうちょい放送いる、すやー。わかったコン。進めないコン。冬じゃなくなったからか色が戻りましたね。日本は白色虫体のパトカー。この配色はない、すやー。運転席は左ですね。何より赤色灯オンリー、すやー。 ポリスステーション。左が語り部、右がお父さんかな。そして森。理髪店。どこかに書いてあります。それとも写真ですか？バーバーショップ。どこかで出てきそうですね。すみません、落ちますね。サーチ、なんとか。了解です。オッター湖、ペンシルベニア州。サーチエリア、捜索範囲。これもしかしたら誘拐事件？冬の時にお父さんがいなくなった、みたいな話をしていた気がします。失踪か。おそらく。何これ怖い。と、キツネは、蝶を手に入れた。
always wanted this game to be very meditative and relaxing, but I know there's a balance between keeping the player's interest. So I added this butterfly jumping mechanic just to like spice things up. I used a plugin called Playmaker for Unity, which in a visual editor lets you do interactive things, which is perfect for me because I do come from a film and design background. But on the flip side, I really wish I was good at code, because this jumping mechanic, the jumping mechanic in the whole game actually has frustrated a lot of players. But hopefully I've been able to fine-tune it, so it should feel a lot better now. I would just hate that this meditative game would get frustrating, so I've definitely I've lowered the gravity, I've made the jumps more consistent, so hopefully people can just focus on the world and the story.
"多分何かしらのギミックだろうね。どこかに大量の蝶がいたから、それが関係してるかも。ただのイースターエッグかもしれませんね。一度だけ大きく飛べるみたいですね。解説。なるほど、2段ジャンプを可能にするのか。2段ジャンプは元からです。となるとおそらく跳躍力増強やろうな。1段目のジャンプの高さが高くなるみたいですね。 シャッターチャンス。
After he drove me home from the police station, I blew up at him, saying how I never wanted to be like him, how I was going to be someone and leave that hick icebox for good. He just looked forward at the road with tired eyes. I took out that bluegrass tape from the cassette deck and chucked it out the window. In my sage teenage wisdom, I thought I had proved the ultimate point. But my dad had a different idea. He slammed the brakes, slowly bowed his head while gripping the steering wheel, and finally looked at me. All he said, like it was a polite request, was, "Make this right." I sat there in silence, fuming, but I eventually got out and combed every square inch of the woods, muttering profanity after profanity. I found it 30 minutes later, near a small waterfall off the road. I went back to the truck, put the wet tape back in, and sure enough it worked. We didn't speak another word to each other the rest of the night.
Wow, I knew you were a crazy teenager, but...
It's hard to believe, isn't it? Surprises me too. It's like I didn't really know who that kid was back then. I bet my dad thought the same thing over and over. It's almost like he was saying, "Make this right," to himself, more than to me. You may have noticed there's a little pond here, and believe it or not, I tried everything I could to get swimming working in this game, and I just could not do it, unfortunately. And so all the water in this game you can just stand in, which is, it still like bums me out, but the systems were not working, it was buggy. So I just had to throw it out, which, you know, I think it's okay. Like, I wish it was there, but again, the focus of this game is on the story.
何かありそう。ああ、そういう。調べてきたぞ。トロフィーがいくつかあって、一つはエリアにある光。これ全部で150個あるから、それ全取得だってよ。なるほど、無理です。んで、もう一つなんだけど、一つのエリアにセクレトテムがあるらしいよ。セクレ？んでもう一つが、最初のエリアでウサギに触れること。英語で打つと
My
ダ
friends
メ
would
やな、
laugh
わ
about
ら。
that night and talk about how crazy it was. And I laughed along, pretending it didn't bother me. But it did. I imagined my friends growing old in the bush and able to find that thrill in those godforsaken ice fields. It's like those mountains were a literal wall, keeping me from leaving, where all I would have to look forward to are lumber yards and evening beers. I had to climb over. That was my only goal for a long time. If there was some way I could take my love of drawing and turn it into a way of escape, nothing would make me happier. I wanted to create instead of tearing trees down. I wanted to move to the lower 48, not because I hated it there in Alaska, but I hated the idea of it. It's like all of that spite inside me had created this monster which followed me around my whole teenage years. I put so much energy into doing what others didn't expect of me. Why did I do that?
There's one fact you're forgetting, though. If you didn't have that fire in you, we probably would have never met.
You're absolutely right. Maybe the destination is all that matters in the end. But then why am I awake,
Why am I seeing this fox go on her journey? And why can't I stop thinking about my dad?
Konbanwaだこん。あばれた。こんばんは、迷える子狐。こんばんは。くっそ。わらわら。なんでこんなゲームがあるんだよ、わら。とうきつねさんも買ってみては。今セールで600円です。ネタにはなりそうだけどな、わら。ちなみに、このゲームを作った人は別ゲームに影響を受けた人らしいです。ヤギかな？それと、英語のボイスしかないやつ。それが物語の解説らしいから、英語覚えなあかんで、わら。いや、風の旅人とかいうやつ。冬、春、次は夏ですね。風の旅人、聞いたことありますね。タイトルが合ってるかどうかわかりませんが、多分そのゲームに似てますね。世界が憎い、わらわら。ここで分かれ道。
I did want to do something a little different with this level. I wanted it to be more open world feel, and that there was something blocking your progress, so it did encourage people to look closely and see how to unlock this blocked way. And I do like just walking around this level and listening to the beautiful music by Josh Kramer. His work really sets the mood for the whole game.
流行りの VRC です。大嘘。ノーコメントで笑顔。一応後ろを確認。さてと、放送したいけど、最近 BGM にマンネリを感じてきたので探してくる。 癒されるゲームだ。いい BGM を期待してますね。実際私今かなり癒されてます。
My dad built a lot of stuff in his free time. If he wasn't watching fly fishing or reading Tom Clancy novels, he was carving something. He made tons of birdhouses. Not that he was into bird watching, but I think he really missed working and adding on to the home. If he couldn't afford the time to build onto our own house, he would have to settle with watching birds move into their little homes. We kept an old mattress in the bed of that ugly yellow truck, so we would drive it deep into the woods and then watch the birds fly into their houses while the sun set. Usually it was accompanied by venison jerky or a cold Coke, but not a lot of talking, which is how we both liked it. Earlier I said I just love going through video games and exploring, like looking at every nook and cranny and just trying to find little details. And I think that started because in middle school and high school, I would make mods for my favorite games, namely Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast, and Far Cry. And I loved like this huge world of mod makers who would make these levels and it'd be like the most random creative things, and I would just love exploring, usually multiplayer levels by myself. So even though I went to college for film, before that, like before high school, I was making video games and mods, and it was my favorite thing in the world. I made a ton of different levels. I made an abandoned space hotel with a dance floor and cafeteria. I made a haunted campground with cabins and tents. I made this whole city with like the first ever day-night cycle with running showers and stuff in the hotel and the apartment buildings. And I just loved making those mods, and I think that carries over to my game, The First Tree, and also the one before that, Home is Where One Starts, which is very, it's exploration. You're just looking around and appreciating the details.
Yakbe, wara, jump, kawaii, wara wara. かわいい。間抜けな面しやがって、わらわら。 ぜひ購入を。どうしようかな、わらわら。
We were happiest underneath the evergreens.
多分ね。
We decided it was time to finally map out the hundreds of acres we lived on, just to pass the time during the summer. He was only free in the evenings, so I would spend the day wasting time on dial-up internet and sketching, and then we would rush into the woods, pen and map in hand, before evening fell. Sometimes the aurora borealis would cast a cold green glow on the mountainside, and we would finish our route underneath a twilight sky. Sometimes I was lonely during those summer days, but there was comfort in the routine.
A lot of teenagers aren't looking for the daily grind, though. There's nothing wrong with wanting to get out, to leave your childhood home. You wanted to progress, to make something of yourself.
Yeah, you're right. That house. I'm sure it's the same as how I left it. But then why does it feel so different?
I doubt you're the only adult to have looked back and asked that question.
ボーリングやカラオケに似たものだと考えています。長さはだいたい1時間から2時間らしいっす。短いのね、わらわら。あれ？始めたのは21時50分なのに、まだ中盤なような。というより、チュートリアルが終わっただけ。ニコ、つつ。癒されるわー。 所がたくさん。よし、適当にゲット。楽しみにしておきますね。
Almost all stories follow the same kind of structure, and it starts with an inciting event, and then there's rising action, and then there's a climax, and then there's falling action. And it's actually really difficult to make an interesting story where you only hear these two people talking, and it's spoken through a dream that's already happened. And the most of the action is about this animal that isn't directly related to this couple at all. So I don't know what I was thinking, but my hope was that it would create some interesting things and connections that I didn't see before. And that was kind of the whole exercise of making the first tree.
何してんの？壁でもあるの？坂でジャンプすると高度が上がる。さっき大きく跳ねたような。すごい光ってる。なんか2段ジャンプしてる。わら。石が白くなった。青白いですね。このストーリーのネタバレになるけど最後狐は鍋になります。大嘘。 オブジェクト編集の時にオブジェクトを指定した時みたいな。これ実は低空ダッシュとかできるんじゃね？わら。わらわら。
On our property, there were old abandoned pieces of a shed and car long left unused. I used to ask him all the time who those people were that left all this junk, and I'm sure he got so tired of hearing it that he made up some elaborate stories how a brown bear ate them and haunted the woods afterwards.
鍋になるんですか?
What's funny is I think it made those people seem more real. Growing up thinking they were still hanging out like they couldn't say goodbye. I used to tell my friends how I could swear I saw spirits move near the water, and that always freaked them out. I guess it didn't bother me, because the way I saw it, they were normal people with old cars and sheds, just trying to figure out how to survive and be happy in the middle of nowhere. It was a cool thought that they didn't want to leave, but you know, I was a weird kid.
Well, you had good company since those ghosts liked living in a place where they were brutally devoured.
.それは大変微妙な。タバコと缶、タイヤと、何ですかねこれ。ああ、キツネかわいい。トンガリコーンのあれ？現実逃避しだした。いつ見ても、キツネは可愛い。このゲームで毎日寝落ちしたい。キャンパス、画家になりたいとか言ってたから、それ関係かな。かもですね。私は金稼いだらテネック買いたい。パークの危機なのだ。キツネ って買うの大変じゃなかったっけ？取り損ね、わら。鳴き声がすごいのと尿の匂いやね。それ以外は犬と変わらん。それ新井さん。
Even at my most distant, at the times when I detested him the most, he kept reaching out. For a year straight, he asked me every week when we were going camping. I thought he was just dense. Eventually, to shut him up, I agreed. We carried out the worn lawn chairs from the garage and set up a cinder block campfire at the site we had always used behind the house. We walked down the mountain path, talking in the warm sunshine we only got a couple months of the year. Those 3 obsidian rocks shimmered alongside the shore, almost like sparklers pressed against a dark window. I'll never forget that wet stone on my feet, or how those massive mountains looked even bigger in the lake's reflection. I felt small, but grateful. As the sun set, my dad found something I hadn't seen for a long time. The tree where I'd made my first carving when I was 6. I hadn't even carved it. My dad had helped me, but I still called it my tree. Something about seeing my name there made me open up, and we talked about everything that night in that old camouflage tent. I told him how much I loved sketching and design, and how it would be a dream to study architecture in Seattle. I told him how I didn't get along with my friends much anymore, but that I didn't mind being alone. He told me he was there for me, and he joked that if all he had to do was write my name on a tree to finally get me to talk, he would have left me carved logs with novels on them in front of my room every morning. I don't know why it took me that long to realize it, but it was then I knew how much he had sacrificed for me.
Julie.恋の親父の影響で建築士になりたかったのかな。
I don't think the first tree could work at all without the music by Josh Kramer. And his music, it's actually publicly available to license, and so it was affordable for me since this was a hobby project. And it's something I like to tell new indie developers all the time. Like, you can't afford that composer, you can't afford a full-time programmer. You need to cut corners and finish your game, and the way to do that is to use these amazing publicly available assets that anyone can purchase and license. And so his music it's incredible, and I actually haven't talked to him that much, I've just emailed him. But his music was nominated for Most Emotional Music at the Emotional Game Awards in France, and he's just a really nice guy. And I think there's so much amazing content out there that if you're thinking of making a game, like, look around and see what you can make work on a tight budget, because it worked really well for the first tree.
確かに眠くなってきますね。私も眠たいです。あれ？意外と狭い。 木漏れ日最高です。凝ってるなぁ。ぜひ購入以下省略。よし、そろそろおいらはおやすみだこん。おやすみなさい、です。天の神は配信プレイなのだ。寝てる間に天野さんが来ないよう鍵はしっかり外してくださいね。外す。おっと失礼。天野さんが入れるように鍵はしっかり外しておいてくださいね。ああ、大丈夫。鍵かけても最悪会場の術式使うか、召喚の術式で呼ぶから。さすがです。それ明日おいら朝食になってるコースじゃねえか。不統合。夜食ですね。夜食やな。天野さん読んで。即、食いなのね、白目。立ち入り禁止やと思う。 なるほど。じゃ、おやすみ。安心してどうぞ。おやすみなさい、です。私の使いが大半食べるので。DOBLOE クラーとかや NOCHE。さすが共産不思議。ゴミ万歳。今日は天野さんの配信に合わせて終わろうかな。そう。私全く逆考えてた。終わった時に始めようと。そうそう。なんやかんや、そこまで長くないゲームらしいし。私は、非本人がいなくなったらやめるので、かなり長くなるかも、しょぼーん。もう1時間半経ってますね。3時間までにはクリアできるやろ、多分。かなりゆったりやってるので、どうですかね。 どうやら1段目のジャンプから2段目までは時間制限があるみたいです。これでどうなるかな？まだやってたのね。やってますよ。時間を決めましょうか。23時50分に終わります。あ、それは終わんないな、ゲームが。キツネタンかわいいよ、はあはあ、ケモナー。まあまた次回やります。あ、これは10秒。クリプトラクト配信して、どうぞ。やりません。スマホゲー、わら。お花見スポット。知ってる人がいたか。 面白いのに知らない人多いからな。まあスマホですし。1回 BL したんだけどプレイする前にスマホにガタが来てできなかった。あらら。今なら4周年記念ガチャ引けるで。あと大量のオーブも。スクショ楽しい。なるほ、もう1回やってみようかな。スマホ変えたし。いいぞ、これ。犬は嫌いぞ。は、うん。キリスト教。だぞ。お父さんかもですね。アーメン。ナムナム。宗教的な動画規制かかるんだよな。開いてますね。いつからだったか知らんけど。すいません、許してください。何でもしますから。今更だけどこれどういうゲームなのさ。
Perpetrator stood nearby, unfazed, like nothing was wrong.
まあ、ゲームの内容ならある程度は許容されるんやないやろうか。
And he's never
わ
coming
からない
back,
です。
Rachel. I can tell you these stories, but I can never reminisce with him again. He can never hold a grandchild that we'll probably never be able to have. I can never talk to him again, and I'll never be able to say I'm sorry for everything.
やっぱりさっきの旗はお父さんのですね。基本ストーリーを読んでいくゲームで進むことで、語り部が喋り出す。悲しいこと言うなよ。ザ・ウルフ。
It was really important to me that the wolf in this story that takes the fox's cubs, that it wasn't explained at all. Like, it's just this entity that's in the background. And of course, it's supposed to represent something bigger than a wolf or even the fox. It's supposed to represent like the specter of death. And it comes when you least expect it. There's no justification. He's just there, always watching.
そのストーリーを見ていくノベルゲーに近い考察ゲーム。ゲーム型の小説みたいな。なるほど。取れてなくて草。意外と判定が厳しい。再び冬。訪れしだしたぞ。マジ。どうすることもできない。まあ大丈夫だろうさ。 狐は疲れて休み出しました。というわけで今回はここまで。お疲れ。おつー。また明日やりますね。お疲れ様でした。おやすみだこん。